All right, welcome YouTube. This is Greenphlem, and I'm here with Name That Has Lasers, formerly known as the Daniel Super Show,
or simply Daniel.
or Daniel. He
This
has a
is a
real name.
distinction. Yeah, this is a distinction I draw a lot. People are always like, "Hey, name that has lasers," and I'm like, "Okay, hold on. I'm Daniel. The channel, which is really my fault because I know people think it's like a gamer tag, but really it's like the channel is youtube.com/name that has lasers, which I thought was clever, wrongfully. But I prefer to be just called Daniel.
Fair enough. Yeah, I usually just go by my moniker, but I mean, I usually like to be referred to as Anthony because
If I thought of a cool name, if I thought of something cool like X Jaws or something, not it's actually not that cool. Laser Gun Man. I don't know. As you
oh
can see, I have trouble thinking of cool names, which makes sense. But yeah, I'd go by it like Greenphlem. How about that? That's a pretty cool name, right? YouTube.
yeah,
Uh,
totally. That
I'd
nasty
go
stuff
by
you
that,
cough
but
up.
I couldn't think of anything, so Daniel's easy.
Totally. All right. Well, first question that I have for you, actually structured interview here is, what got you into the YouTube community slash gaming in general? Like, what was your favorite game growing up? Blah blah blah.
Oh wow. Okay, so kind of like what's the story behind me on YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, Green Phlegm. The year was 1984, and Ghostbusters was hot in the theaters.
Holy
And
crap.
somewhere in the state of New York, two people were giving birth to a child that would I'm just kidding. Were you like, is he really doing this?
For a second there, I was like, oh Jesus Christ, this can go a place where I have to edit out.
No. Well, my YouTube journey started probably not unlike some others, but like I'm a little older for the viewers that don't know. I'm like 27 years old. So
You
to
could be
me,
that old? Ah,
do what?
you could be that old? Ah. No,
Yeah,
it's
right,
just for
exactly.
the 16-year-old in me.
So old. I feel old. Feel older some days than others. But yeah, for me, like YouTube growing up was always just some place that weird people posted videos of their cat. Like we didn't I had no concept at all that YouTube was anything more than just like, hey, did you see that cat video? Totally lol cat. Um so like the first time Toby actually Tobiah Toby Wan Kenobi on YouTube, he link in the description. Are we doing that?
Yeah,
You have
sure.
to now.
Yeah,
See
no,
what
I do.
I did
Mm.
that. That just happened. He was trying to show me Minecraft like way back in the day during alpha, and I was like, Minecraft, what's that? So the first video we watched was sort of Mojang's little trailer they did, like the introduction to the game, little synopsis.
Mm.
And then the very next video that he showed me was an episode of Anner's original Let's Play Minecraft, the episode where Anners goes to the Nether.
Oh,
And I remember the episode very fondly to this day because it was the first time that I just was like, what is this? Like, what is this person doing? Like he's making jokes and he's enjoying the game and people are watching this and I'm like looking at the views and I'm like 400,000. And this is before I had any concept of like money or anything. I just
hmm
thought it was cool that many people watched that. Because like for me growing up, uh, I experienced a lot of video games through my brother because I had an older brother, and so in our household, we didn't have like two of every system or anything like that. So like largely for my youth, the way that I experienced games more often than not was just watching him play them. And so we'd sit and we'd talk, and he'd play the game, and I'd watch him beat the game, and I'd rarely beat a game myself. And so somehow that like was magical to me watching Anders play this game and me like vicariously experiencing the game through him. It kind of took me back to like when I was a kid, and I was like, this is really cool that there's somebody doing this. And also he was hilarious and he was making worthwhile commentary. And I just was like, this is a thing. Like I actually like looked at Toby. I was like, this is a thing. And he was like, yeah, dude, it's Let's Plays. Like tons of people do Let's Plays. And I was like, I could do that. That's amazing. Let's do that now. So that got me like started in YouTube, kind of. I didn't start with gaming though. I started with my original channel, the Daniel Super Show, which some of you may know about. It started out with like this variety show where I basically just like stood in front of like a background and talked about like celebrities and stuff. I was basically like, rip off SXE Phil or something.
right.
But in those days, I had no idea of copyright law or anything. I was a noob and I was like using clips from movies and stuff. And then YouTube was like, hey, not so much, guy. And I was like, okay, deleted, and I deleted all those videos. And the first one was great though. I made fun of Ray William Johnson, and
Uh,
it got like
yeah.
400 views, which for your first video is like insanity.
Yeah, totally. I remember that.
Probably because Ray William Johnson was in the tags. So
Ooh, yeah, that'll instantly get you about 100 views.
pretty much. So yeah, I deleted all those, and then it turned into like a web series, and you can actually still watch that, where I just kind of like basically made a show, because my background's kind of in film and video. So I did that for a little while, and then I don't know, somewhere along the line, it like transitioned into gaming, and I kind of found my niche, and the rest is history.
Hmm. So, do you feel that you said you had a background in film. What exactly, well, first, before I ask the question, what exactly is your background in that?
I have a degree in audio video production, applied audio video production,
Ooh.
Greenphlem, from the Arkansas State University. No, it's not as cool as it sounds. Yeah, I majored in radio and television, so I have a bachelor's in that, and so that's kind of my background. I mean, I worked at a lot of news stations when I was younger, just doing. So I was like started out as a PA, and then I was a camera op, and then I was an associate editor, and then when I finally quit, I was the lead audio operator, and I finally was just like, this business sucks, and I've had enough of it, and I hate all of you, and I'm never going to do this again. Like, no lie, I would rather work at Taco Bell for the rest of my life than work in broadcast news ever again. So
No, that was a news station that you're working at, not a radio station? Because I would expect that from a radio station. 'Cause,
no, actually, radio station probably would have been much cooler. No, they
hmm,
were all actually television news stations, and so basically just like a radio station, every news station has an audio operator, and basically what you
right.
do is you jockey the board and just make sure the right person's coming through at the right time, and everybody sounds pretty, and manage all the microphones and all the broadcast equipment. And yeah, it could be fun, but in my case it wasn't so fun, because it was all the corporate stuff, and like some dude standing over your shoulder telling you what to do, and you're like, have you ever worked an audio board? And they're like, no, but I have a tie
No,
and a
press
cup of
that
coffee,
button.
so you will listen to everything I have to say. It was just kind of absurd. So that's my background.
So, do you feel that that is sort of helped you in your gameplay videos? Because I noticed you have a super high quality production value on your videos, and I really respect that. And uh,
Well,
do you,
thank you.
yeah, do you feel like that has contributed to that?
In a way, definitely. Just because I don't know. I hesitate to say that. I'm not trying to downplay the importance of an education, but to be honest, I learn more from just Googling for hours every day and making a lot of mistakes, like recording something and being like, that sounds really fill in the blank. How can I make it less fill in the blank? And just doing that on my own. In fact, before I ever YouTubed, and while I was in college and all this, I actually ran a little independent music studio.
Hmm.
So a lot of my equipment actually comes from there, and that was trial and error also, just learning about things like compression, limiting, equalization, all kinds of different processes,
Right.
and it's just a long thing. Like, my quality is a culmination of 15 plus years of tinkering. So a
Ah,
lot of it just comes from really having that desire to have higher quality content, and then to figure out how that's possible, more so than to say like, oh well, I went to college for it and that's why I'm good at it. No, not at all. Not at all.
oh, all right then. That is helpful because I am sort of trying to I'm in the middle of this evolution, I guess, of trying to get to the higher quality end of the content I can create now that I have the supplies, I guess.
Right,
Because I've
right.
always wanted to do that, but I just never had the supplies. So
Well, it's
there
it's
you
it's more affordable than you'd think. People always ask me, and this is kind of an offshoot, and you can feel free to edit this out, but people always ask me the most common question I get, which makes me laugh every time. And my wife, I talk to her about this, and she hates it. She's like, please stop talking about audio nerd stuff to me. People always are like, what mic do you use? I want good audio quality. What mic do you use? And I'm like, I never answer it really. Well, I do, but I'm like, okay, first, I use a Rode NT1A. Secondly, no mic will give you good audio quality. No mic. I don't care if you buy a $3,500 Neumann,
go. Hmm.
Model 67. It doesn't matter. The good audio quality comes from good mic address practices, like learning how to properly address a microphone, having the knowledge of how to edit your sound. I mean, sound is just like video. It's exactly the same. It needs to be edited. It needs to have post production put into it, and so
Hmm.
many people don't do any of that. And so you can go down to Best Buy, buy a blue snowball for 50, 60 bucks, whatever they're going for now. Download a program called Reaper, which is what I use. And you've in total, if you buy the full Reaper license for an individual, you've in total spent $90. And your quality, once it's on YouTube and it's in Flash and everything, it can be every bit as good as my quality. I've done it. I've had a friend of mine send me a blue snowball. We got in a little bit of an argument. He was like, "Yeah, you're full of crap. You can't make blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Send me a raw audio file, dude." So he went into like Audacity, recorded some audio, sent it to me, and I sent it back to him. And I was like, "Boom!" Like just kind of like to prove a point. I wasn't trying to be a dick,
Right.
I was just showing him like good audio quality is possible at a lower price. You don't have to spend $400 on a microphone to have good audio quality, especially not when you're talking about spoken word. Spoken word is surprisingly easy to get to wrap your head around. It's not like creating a symphony or something.
Right. So, all right, awesome. Do you have any YouTubers that have sort of influenced? I know you mentioned Nanners, and I totally agree that Nanners and X. I don't know if you've ever heard X's Adventures in Minecraft were the best.
X's Adventures in I never heard of that ever.
Oh, he was actually one of the first that came around
That's
before.
probably why I never heard of it.
But do you watch any other YouTubers, gaming or not, that have sort of influenced, I guess?
I don't watch a ton of YouTube, and the reason is actually really like revealing of my own neuroses as a human. But my thing is like I think when you're an artist of any type, whether you're like a musician or like I'll use a musician as an example, but like so let's say you're a musician, and I used to be a musician. That was like my first passion in life. I've done music since I was born, basically. My thing when I was a musician was always like people would want me to go to concerts, and unless it was like some really amazing artist that I like could never approach, like in terms of the quality of what they were doing, like I'd go see that. But somebody would be like, "Hey, we're just gonna go see fill in the blank. Do you want to go?" My answer would always be no, because all I'm gonna do is stand in the audience and be angry that they're doing what I want to do, and I feel like I can do it better than them. You know what I mean?
Right,
And so like
right.
that sounds like a really dickish thing to say, like, "Oh, you think you're better than fill in the blank?" Well, not so much, but like, frankly, yeah. I mean, like, I think we all,
Well,
have
you
those of us who have confidence, and when you see somebody doing something that you feel is not as good as what you're doing, you don't want to watch it. Like, it makes you anxious. It makes you want to create content and be like, look at my content,
Yeah, it's when you have it's more towards the things that you love because you have that background knowledge of like how to do what they're doing, that it's
Right.
like if you're just an outsider watching a YouTube video or whatever of Ray William Johnson or whatever, you might
Hmm.
just take it as it is. But for me, I'm like, oh, how did he do that? Oh, what's that? And
Right, it
and
makes you anxious. Like there's an
yeah,
anxiety incorporated in watching YouTube videos if you're a YouTuber. And so I don't
totally.
watch a ton of it, but what I do, I'll name a few names. Like my list is very small. Like I do watch Nanners, but even Nanners, like a new Nanners video pops up and like I get scared of it. Like I'm like, oh, I
I,
want to
I
I want to
feel
watch that,
yeah,
but I don't want to
definitely.
watch that. And like 4 or 5 days will go past, and finally I'll be like, I will watch it. And it's always like super inspirational, and I'm like, why didn't I watch that in the first place? Um,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
there's Nanners, there's New Challenger. I really like Anthony Carboni.
Ah,
If you
yes.
guys
Hmm.
don't watch that, watch New Challenger. It's great. It's amazing. He's totally deserved of way more views than he gets. The quality on that show is intensely good. Um, I watch a lot of smaller channels because I'm passionate about trying to find other smaller channels like me. I really want to try to promote that sort of like quote unquote indie community, if you can call it that.
Right.
So like I watch, I found a guy not too long ago out of Australia called the Tufty Womble, who I think is pretty funny. I found a guy named Lomag or Lomag Eric, I think is his handle. I watch him. Um, Different smaller YouTubers, Total Blowfish, who I'd done some work with in the past.
Hmm.
As far as bigger YouTubers go, I try to keep up kind of with what big YouTubers are doing just to not be, behind the ball, behind the curve. But I do that more so like via Twitter. Like instead of like subscribing to them on YouTube, I'll kind of follow them on Twitter and just see what they're up to. When you're talking about names like Woody's Gamer Tag, XJaws, White Boy 7th Street,
Uh,
videos like that. I'm not
yeah.
really into those channels, but I do like to kind of keep track just because they're, considered the front runners right now.
And yeah, for good reason, I guess. But I agree. I don't exactly follow them, but if I do see a big video by them, I'm like, oh, it must be good. blah blah blah. Let me watch it. So what other hobbies do you have?
Um, None. This
Oh,
takes up pretty
lovely.
much 93.69% of my time, and then the other time is puppy time and family time and wife time. So I mean, if I did have a hobby, I guess it'd be music, but I don't even really do that much anymore. I really this really is like my passion. It's really what I do. And a lot of people laugh because a lot of people think YouTubing. They look at it and they laugh and they're like, "Oh, silly little YouTuber making his YouTube videos." And it's like, bro, I
Oh,
work
that's the
90
farthest from the
hours a
truth.
week. Like, I work so much. Your brain would explode if you knew how many hours I sit here and perfect my video and perfect my audio and research things and answer comments and answer questions and
Hmm.
do the same episode 9 times because the first 8 times it wasn't just right. Like, it's really a labor of love, and I love what I do, and I'm not by any means complaining, but people should realize that you know to do this at a high level, it is definitely a lot of work, a lot of effort that goes into it. So I don't really have a lot of time for hobbies, but I kind of my YouTubing is kind of wrapped up in my hobbies, so that helps because I'm sort of doing my hobbies as work, and I don't know, it's all confusing.
Um, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I'm balancing high school homework and everything, so that's
God.
it's kind of yeah, it's kind of killed my time to work on YouTube, but it's more of yeah, it's more of a chore than most people think it
Yeah,
is.
I'm amazed by, YouTubers like yourself that are in high school or even college and just still trying to do YouTube, especially if they're putting out that high quality content and then they're doing like even one video a day. I'm like amazed by that because like the sheer insanity of my workflow during the day to try to do 2 videos a day, and I
Mhm.
this is all I do right now. Like it's mind boggling. So definitely big ups to all the younger guys out there trying to do it.
Mm. Uh, so I saw in one of the more recent videos that you made, you are now part of the TGN.
Yes, that is correct.
Uh, that is awesome because I actually just got accepted into them as well,
Woo!
and I love their ethic there, and I'd been following them for a while, and I just decided to jump in, and
Well, awesome. Welcome. I have no authority to say that at all.
no,
I'm
it's
very,
just
I'm not quite involved at this point, but
right,
yeah.
right, right. And do you feel that it's beneficial to be part of one of these higher up networks?
I think it's extremely helpful for people to have a partnership with a network because you've got a team behind you. If something goes wrong with your account, if something goes wrong with one of your videos, if Google robot pops up and they're like, "Hey, you use music from Flashdance 1984," and you're like, this is a video of me playing with my dog. There's no music in it." You have somebody to go to who can help you solve those problems as opposed to being a man alone out in the wilderness of YouTube, and you're not going to get help, you're not going to have any recourse there. So just for that, just for having a team of helpful people at your disposal, that's reason enough alone. But then on top of that, I think there's better opportunities for growth when you have a network. I haven't been able to post anything yet on TGN Central, but I'm working on getting my directorship with the partners uh, services guy. And when I do get to post something on TGN Central, I'm anticipating gaining some subscribers from that. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons to go with the network, and I would highly recommend it. I mean, as long as like we talked about, read the contracts, know what you're getting into,
Right.
be knowledgeable. I think it's a great move. I think going alone and doing the AdSense route, that was kind of the thing, a couple years ago.
Hmm.
But now more and more, you almost can't afford not to be part of a network.
Yeah, I have been part of AdSense for about almost a year now, and it has been an up and down experience from what I can tell. So I just decided to go over to TGN just for,
Right.
yeah, like you said, the extra security.
Not only that, and it's steady too. You know what you're going to be bringing in,
Hmm.
and it's consistent, and that's a good thing.
It is. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times my CPM has changed, and
Watch.
it's sad.
$7, awesome. You check 10 minutes later, 17 cents.
Oh
That's
no.
right. What happened?
Well, on the topic of TGN, we have they push streaming a lot, and it's something I've been wanting to get into. I own XSplit. I actually bought XSplit,
Mm-hmm.
and
Awesome. Hope you bought the professional version.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Um,
Common mistake.
oh yeah, I know. I was like, what is this too? And so do you see streaming as equally important, like just to talk to your fans as making content for your YouTube is
I
important?
think I
Well,
think they're I think they're both different disciplines.
mhm.
I think it's confused sometimes that people think, well, if I can do YouTube videos, I can stream. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like, I think streaming takes a particular mindset. Like, for me, I love streaming because, as you may be familiar with by this point in the interview, I can talk all day long without stopping ever. So I can keep that flow of information going, and that's a good thing. Now I realize there's a lot of streamers out there who do it based on their skill. Like everything I say basically in this interview or in any interview or in any commentary is colored through the lenses of what I do, which is basically comedy, entertainment, let's playing.
Hmm.
Now I realize there's people out there who don't even talk at all on their streams because there's some sort of ungodly beast at League of Legends or something, and people are just watching them to learn tactics. That's let's just set that aside for the purposes of this interview because I'm not saying that. I'm talking about from what I do from my perspective. If you're going to try to live stream, you have to be able to be entertaining on the fly, which to me is really fun and awesome because what I love about comedy is like the ad lib aspect of it, like the immediacy of having to come up with a joke on the fly or something,
Yeah,
and
the
then
improv aspect of
yeah, the
comedy.
improv aspect, and that to me is what's fun and what's magical about comedy. So it's even amped up when you're on the live stream and there's no editing and there's no let's go back and try that again. You're there, but there's also some dangers in that. I think like. Some of my viewers who have been with me for a while will be familiar with something we refer to as the NyQuil incident. Um,
Oh.
don't don't take NyQuil and stream. That's a good
Oh
thumb.
my God, that sounds terrible.
It was bad. I said some things, so I'm not gonna go into it. But
Okay.
yeah, I had to delete the stream, and like there was a little bit of controversy because basically I just like all my inhibitions went away, and I just started like talking crap about all these like YouTubers left and right, and
Uh,
not that they didn't have it coming, but I kind of felt bad, and like I have a little bit of a conscience, and I was like, it wasn't my place. I shouldn't have said that, but. Yeah, so there's a danger there. You gotta like watch what you say a little bit more because it's live. It's going out to the viewers. You don't have that 10-second delay that NBC has where they can hit the kill button. Like you
right.
say it and it's gone. It's on the webs.
Yeah, it's on there, most
But
likely forever.
I think ideally doing both is good because having live streaming is great. It's that immediate sort of interactivity, which I love. Like everything I do is based on interactivity. That's why I love YouTubing. That's why I choose this over making, the kind of like doing something more the way of like Corridor Digital or something, which that's another YouTuber I watch right there.
Oh,
I
love
was
them.
trying to think outside of gaming. I love Corridor Digital. They're amazing. Um, but yeah, like doing something more like that, which is totally within my wheelhouse. Like I've done visual effects and things before. But the reason that I choose to do what I do with this is because that to me lacks interactivity. They're old school, which is nothing wrong with that, but they're making content, preparing it ahead of time, and then putting it out there. And it is what it is. It's just providing content. Whereas what I do is based on the interactivity. What do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to see me build? What do you guys want to see me play? What can we do a Q&A? Can we do this? Can we do that? And I think that's where a lot of YouTubers go wrong because it seems like even a lot of the bigger YouTubers, and I think this is where they're going to finally start to see their views declining and other people gaining, is that they're not as interactive. I mean, I see some of these YouTubers that are putting out episodes that they recorded, a month ago,
Hmm.
and they're just recording all this stuff, stocking it up. And my policy's always been like timely. Like I record the episodes the same day you watch them, always. There are some exceptions if I'm on vacation or something, but
Right.
typically it's like Minecraft's number 20 or whatever. I recorded that an hour ago, and now it's on. Well, like there's some editing time, and we're not gonna get into all that, but
Right.
but yeah, it's the same day. So, but I'm getting off track here with the question. Yes, streaming is great, and I think you should do it because it can bring more attention to your YouTube, and then your YouTube can in reverse bring more attention to your streaming. It's just like it's putting more tentacles out there, so to speak. So
Okay.
yeah. I'm a big fan of it, and honestly, if I could do streaming only, if I could get the same numbers of views on the stream that I get on videos, I can't say that I would continue YouTubing because I just like love live streaming. It's so much more instant, the interaction and everything. I just really like it a lot.
Yeah. I have the same feelings from my experiences of streaming.
Well, I
Uh,
wouldn't stop YouTubing. That was stupid. I shouldn't have said that.
I'm sure you wouldn't, but it would definitely
But
be
I
a
would tailor like
viable
content
option.
like Minecrafts or something. I would
Mhm.
probably do that live streaming instead. Let me say it that way. Like there would still be content on the YouTube channel, of course,
Mhm.
but more so, the things like the live comms, so to speak, would probably just go away, and I would just live stream a lot more.
Yeah, you see a lot of YouTubers like the Syndicate Project doing a lot of his stuff live streamed. His
Right.
Minecraft project is doing he did live streams it a lot. It'd be just because he can get those numbers and